everybody, and welcome back to the shop. Today's video is going to be a little different. The subwoofer on my computer died, so I am going to take it apart and try to fix. I suspect the power supply died on it since the power light hasn't been coming on. As you can see, Samsung doesn't like you actually repairing their stuff. It was all glued in. I had to hammer it apart. We will see if we can fix this, and if not, well, it'll be a fun exercise in diagnosing something. So, hope you enjoy, and I'll take you along for the ride. Alright, now that we got this out, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for any visible signs of damage. Not seen any yet, but these things can hide themselves. So what we're probably going to do is I'm just going to take the board off of this piece of metal so I can check the actual individual components with my multimeter, and yeah, see what happens. Let's see if we can power it up and if we get the indicator light to turn on. So right here's the indicator light. Let's see if we can get that to turn on. Worst case scenario, we let the smoke out and we can move on. Yep, no light. So that's not good. I think this capacitor might be bad. It's got a little bulge to it. So what we will do is we're going to take this off, disconnect that. And then we have to wait a few minutes while the capacitor is discharged. Although I probably should have checked for power when this is still plugged in. But oh well. Live and learn, I guess. Yeah, they must have used the impact wrench on this thing. should probably disconnect this ribbon cable as well. There we go. That's for the module that connects it to the sound bar. This is a wireless subwoofer. Where did that go? Alright, there it is off the board. That just looks like radio interference shielding right there. Piece of plastic. And to protect all those contactors. So let's start checking the back side of this board here. I don't really see anything out of place over here. Got solder joints. No goop or visible burn marks. I do have this little button here, and not really sure what it does. Let's look on here. It says ID set. So I'm guessing it's to pair it up with the soundbar. So it's probably not a reset button. Let's see here. Alright, let's test a couple of capacitors here. I think it's these ones because they got some good bulging going on. That's usually a good indicator that the capacitor is giving up the ghost. So I'm going to check those first. That is that one there. That one is that one right there. Okay, that capacitor is not reading correct. How about this one? Is that? Well, I suspect it's in the high voltage side. On this board, this side right here is pretty much all the high voltage, and then they put that little line to delineate that, and then this side of the transformer is the low voltage, probably the 12 volts or so that runs the sound module, the speaker controller, and the wireless connection. Alright, I found the hole. It's actually this component right here that failed. There's a big old hole blowing out the side here. I just found it when I was checking with the meter for testing different points. I'm gonna have to order this part, and depending on how much it costs, to either replace it or just see if I can buy this whole board online. based on the fact they don't really want you taking it apart, it's probably not looking good for the replacement board. But hopefully this part here is pretty cheap on like Allied Electric or something like that, and I can get it in pretty quick and replace it. If not, it looks like I'm buying a new sound bar for my computer. Well, I found this board on eBay. Unfortunately, it's only in Europe and they don't ship to the US, which is unfortunate. This component is supposedly an EE1614. Unfortunately, I can only find sources of it in China. So I'm suspecting that it's not a regular bog standard part. So I'm gonna take it off and let's do a autopsy on it and see if I can find a suitable replacement that I can actually buy here in the States. So I'm gonna desolder this part. So it's right here. There's 5 holes on this side, 4 on this side. So I'm just gonna solder them up and yank them, and so we'll have some fun here. Get the old autopsy machine out and let's have some fun. Can't break it any more than it already is. Now I did notice there was some weird oily schmoo on this transformer as well. I'm not sure what to make of that. It might just be from the process that was made to do it all. But I'm also noticing there's a little bit of that schmoo on the back here too, so I'm not really sure what that is. That might just be resin overflow from when they did the flowing on the actual flow machine. So yeah, fun times. Alright. I need better players. When you really want to fuck something up. Let's crank that up a little bit in heat. Unfortunately, I don't have a solder sucker, so I gotta do it the old-fashioned way. I should probably just get a screwdriver and stick that under there. That's too big. Alright. Well, part of the plastic already busted off, so that was already weakened. Yeah, you can see some burn marks on that. Jesus. Alright, so it fell apart as I was desoldering it. Wasn't as strong as I thought it was. There you can see the blowout right here. Yeah, it's definitely shoots its last charge. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, but at least I got it taken out, so if I am able to get that little part, I can just solder it back in. But most likely what I'm having to do is just buy a new sound bar, since, well, this one was made in like 2012, so it's getting a little long in the tooth as it is. So I think 8 years of use is a pretty good run. So unfortunately I'm not going to fix this today, but well, we had a little fun in the garage at least, so that beats having fun and not having fun in the house any day of the week. So thanks for watching, and since this is a short one, I'm probably gonna add this on to another video. So I'm not sure what that video will be yet. And I also might gut this thing for the subwoofer and build a custom subwoofer. I'm not sure yet. I've always wanted to build a speaker box, so this might be a good opportunity to do so, since it's going in the garbage otherwise. And the subwoofer itself's not bad, so I think I will look into that, and hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Have a great day. Goodbye. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the shop. In today's video we're going to discuss taps and drills used in the home shop. As I'm sure many of you already have in your possession and experience, we all have these high quality Harbor Freight tap sets. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones where there's barely any teeth on there and they break the first time you use them. And I suffered through these for a lot longer than I should have. And then once you get past those, you go to your big box store. I'm looking at you, Lowe's and Home Depot. And you go get yourself one of those little Irwin boxes here. Like this one, where it comes with this fancy handle, even that's absolutely useless. But it comes with the drills you need to tap the holes and then the taps themselves. But as you can see with this abbreviated quarter 20, I think it's a quarter 20, yeah, it's a quarter 20 tap that I had to fix because it broke off the first time I used it. I tapped one other hole with it. After that I said screw it and bought some real taps. So for me, don't waste your money on these, to be honest, unless you're just tapping plastic. they're really not worth it. I mean, it's great that you get a little kit with all these different sizes. Like this little kit here, I mean, you get a quarter 20, you get a 1032, a 1024, an 832, 632, and a 440. That's nice and all. And ironically enough, the drills themselves aren't bad. Like, you've actually seen me use this one right here in a video. This is the drill I used to drill every hole on that fixture plate I made for all the quarter holes that needed tapping. So it's not like they're completely bad. If anything, you go look on the shelf, you notate these numbers, then you go to McMaster Car and you just buy each of those drill bits, and then you do what I do, and that's an M6, and you get yourself some Wadeo taps. These happen to be spirals. I'm going to go over that in a minute. And you just go on your way and take care of business. And even with the higher quality taps, they're not all created equal. And you need to keep in mind that we, as hobbyists, we don't really burn through equipment like we used to, like the main commercial shops do. So the cost difference between buying a good tap and a cheap tap is really, it's how much time do you want to save and how much frustration do you want to eliminate from your task. For me, it ended up being well worth it to get the higher quality taps because they were only maybe $2-3 a tap more, and the performance difference is just phenomenal. So we're going to go over a few other little intricacies of drills, and then we'll go back to taps. So let me get this out of the way. Mostly that's for illustration. It's also why it's just sitting in the DeWalt box of shame right here. And we'll get rid of these because, well, we're never going to look at these again. These are here as a reminder to myself not to buy cheap stuff. Alright. And on a side note, another thing I wanted to point out is, as you can see right there, I've got a pretty decent surface plate. Everyone needs a surface plate. You need some sort of flat measurement ability. So, my first surface plate was actually this right here. It's a piece of cutoff from a countertop. And it's as flat as that surface plate. Now, granted, it doesn't have the numbers, excuse me, and the pieces of paper that say it's ground flat, but I put this on that plate and Prussian blued it, and it was like a perfect matchup, except for right here where it's chipped. But this was $3.99. That was like $50, so take it for what it is. And if you just go to a kitchen remodeling shop, most bigger cities have them. They literally have piles of this stuff. And when we were getting some new cabinets for the kitchen, I just asked them, like, hey, do you got any small cutoffs I can just have for... And they're like, yeah, here, take as many as you want. So I have a few of these. They're also great for sanding blocks. Now that I have a few of them, I got some smaller ones, and you just put the sandpaper on the bottom and you just tape it across this side. This side's got some texture to it, so the tape will actually stick better. And then you got yourself a nice, perfectly flat surface to sand against. And since these are free, you can get a few bigger ones, say like a 24 by 24 inch piece, if you're lucky. Now, they might charge you for that piece, but even still, it'll be a really cheap price. And then you can sand things on that with a large sheet of sandpaper without worrying about messing up your actual proper surface plate once you get one. But to be honest, for 90% of your operations, this, what is this, about 5x5 piece of fake granite countertop will work for you. It's actually quite good. Alright, now that sidebar's out of the way. First rule of taps is, if it says Irwin in the name, don't buy it. The only exception that I would have is these two cullets. I like them. They work good. You stick a ratchet in on that side and your taps on this side. This one I think is for 3/8 and above, I want to say, and this one goes from the tiniest up to there. This will go up to like a 1/2 inch tap. And of course we always just use a hand ratchet. We never hook up the 3/8 drive to 1/4 inch drill to use our drill to do it. No, we would never do that. Obviously, we always use these properly with just a ratchet. We would never use it with a drill. Never, not once. Nope. Anyways, sarcasm aside, let's talk about some taps. And what I like to do with taps. And at some point, we're probably gonna make a project where I actually organize it better, because right now, this is my tap organization. Old containers, I had things otherwise labeled that I've repurposed with a whole bunch of drill bits and taps in here. And let's go through some of these. So all these taps were bought from McMaster-Carr. Not sponsored by them, I just like them because I order something at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and by 2 in the afternoon on Wednesday it's sitting in my front porch. And again, for the home shop user, that's not really, you are going to pay a little bit more for this stuff, but also keep in mind we're home shop users and we're not buying a lot of these. Like this 1/4 drill, for example. You've seen this in many videos. Well, not this one, this is my extra one. I always buy 2, so I was in the military where philosophy is 1 is none, 2 is 1, or I guess if you want to be pedantic about it, it's 2 is 1, 1 is none, but same point. I always have a spare. I've made the mistake in the past where I didn't have that spare one, and then my product comes to a complete stop until the next day when I get my next one in. Now mine's McMaster-Carr I get the stuff from, so if you order on Friday night, you're not getting it until Monday. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. So I like to keep 2. They're cheap. They're like $3 for this drill. Worth every penny to me. I also keep these in my most common size uses. So I do a lot of 1/4 inch holes. Because I'm weird, I also do a lot of metric stuff. So I do a lot of 5mm holes. I do a whole lot of 1/8 inch holes. And I do a lot of 3mm holes. So I keep a lot of those around. So I just keep that all together. Those are my spares. Then what I do is this one set up that way? So this, for example, this is 832 tap set. What inevitably happens is I buy a drill to stick in that little kit, and it just lives in there. Let's see if we can get that a little bit better. There you go. So this is the drill that is used to cut the clearance hole for my taps. It will always live in this tap hole. So every 832 pack I have has a drill in it, and then it just works out that way for me. I like it. It's a good system. Now you get to these bigger ones. This is a 6mm tap. Obviously there's no room to be sticking a small drill in there, so I think this is it. Yeah, yep. I have my 5mm drill. I just stick it in the same hole. Obviously that won't fit in there, so when I eventually break one of these taps, I'll throw it in there, but I haven't broke a tap yet on that kit. And these tap kits are cheap. This whole set with a bottoming, starting, and gun tap, I want to say this was only like $15. And it's a high quality tap. I've tapped a ton of aluminum with this set, not even using lube, and it works great. Now, I'm going to talk about some variances in tap types here in a few minutes, but just for a basic tap, these work good. Alright, and here's my 3mm set. This one I think I have broken. I've tapped so many holes with this set, because every single, I broke 2 taps with this one already, because I'm not very nice with my taps. This one actually needs to get cleaned up a little bit too. Got a little piece of aluminum stuck in there still. There we go. So obviously it looks like I need to order some more 3mm taps because I am running low. I used to buy them like this, where you just get the little a little single jobber, and it's fine and all, but just buy the sets. It'll give you everything you need. Like this 632, for example. I am missing the drill for it. I think it's somewhere else in this mess. So I gotta get another drill for this one to stick in there. Got the 3/8 that uses, these are special taps. I'll talk about these in a minute. That uses, I believe, this drill. That's a 6mm. There it is, this drill right here. So obviously you're not going to be sticking your drill in this one. This is probably one of my few non-Wadias I have. It's also bought from McMaster. It works just as good. I like the coated ones. They cut through aluminum a lot better. That's another thing. Look at what you're going to be cutting and tapping, because they make special coatings for different taps for different types of materials. So this stuff and these non-coated, these work good for aluminum. You don't want to really use that for steel. In my other taps over here that I'll go through in a minute, because they're special, I'll talk to you why I got 3 different ones that do effectively the same thing. There's some extra drills for cutting holes. Oh, actually here's the 3/8 drill. It's actually a 5/16 they used to cut that. But I got a ton of these little ones. Don't buy them. Buy the sets. And then as you break them, then you buy the singles and replace them. But this causes too much havoc. You just don't have room. Alright, let's get these out of the way. And let's talk about these special taps. Now these ones, since they don't come in sets, so I can't really stick drills with them. Here, let me get a chair and sit down. These ones are different. So let's see, that one's that. Alright. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one I use. So this one is, I actually don't know who makes this. I got my McMaster car. But this is a regular standard type, because I kept breaking the quarters. So that's this guy. This one I absolutely love. I highly recommend it. You're doing a lot of aluminum cutting, buy these. Even with a hand tap wrench, they're effortless. I love them, and when I buy new taps in each size, I'm going to be looking for these. And at least for aluminum. I haven't tested them in steel yet, but that's what I bought these for. This is, I think it's called a gun tap. Yes, this is a gun tap. So what it does is it pushes the chips through. So this is really good for through holes. And with this coating, it's actually good for steel as well. It's a 2-flute instead of like how these are 4. So you get a little more rigidity in your cut, and you also, it gives more of a drill action. So these are more meant for power tapping. These, we all use them power tap, but that's why they always break. They're not designed to be power tapped. These are designed to be power tapped with, and these are designed to be power tapped with. You notice how both of these have a very nice flute system to evacuate chips. Whereas this, once the chip's in that little channel there, it's not going anywhere until you either pull it out this way or push through. It's another reason why I'm going away from these. Is they're nice for having in sizes you don't use often, but for taps you use a lot of. So I do a lot of 1/4-20 tapping, so these are the bee's knees. For all the aluminum I do, I love these things. They just work. And I'm gonna test these out more in the future. I don't know how it's gonna go yet. Haven't used any of these ones yet, but from whatever everyone else uses them, they seem to work pretty good. These do require more lubricant than those other ones for aluminum, I know that much. So, alright, enough on taps. Let's talk about drills. As alluded to before, I buy single drills now. Let's get these out of here. I also buy stub drills a lot of the time because they're more rigid. Everyone's seen the old DeWalt's. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. These things, now these containers, the storage solution is actually really nice. I actually highly recommend the storage solution. I would buy more of these in a heartbeat. Alright, so for me, I break them into different categories. This is for the devil's metal, otherwise known as wood. I also just keep my extra Phillips tips. Now, with the DeWalt stuff here, there's two categories. There's drills and bits. I actually don't mind their bits. Their bits work good. Like, I got whole kits of nothing but bits. They work great. But don't buy their drills. Their drills suck. I mean, for soft materials like wood, fine. Aluminum, they tend to not last as long. I've had to replace a few of these individually due to aluminum taking care of them. Now, on the other hand, and this is another thing I got from, I guess, the car of McMaster. Get yourself a decent set of countersink. Ironically, these are Irwin, but they actually work pretty good. And they got a nice little variety of sizes, so you can countersink in different things. I use them mostly for chamfering, but for wood, DeWalt's okay. Get their wood specific bits. Their bits themselves they're good. They work. They're functional. They're cheap to replace. Another nice thing is you just clip that like that, and look at that. You got yourself a little storage solution that you can just drag around anywhere. And then for these black oxide ones, just as you can see, they're pretty chowdered up and whoops, sorry about that. Let's look at this 1/8, for example. It's only been used to cut aluminum, and it's already duller than dull, and I've only cut maybe like 6 holes with it. It's garbage. Don't buy these. They're made of high quality Chinesium. But the only thing they're good for is you can get a 1/2-inch drill with a 3/8 chuck, because reduced. So for the ubiquitous DeWalt and company type drills, here I'll show you. There we go. So for these, they're great. If you can chuck up anything else into it, don't use these. They're trash. Don't buy them. Now, if you did buy them, as they break and go dull and inevitably get replaced, you keep using this index. They're good indexes. Just replace them with quality drills, preferably ones not made in China. That's not to say that China doesn't make good tools. They do. It's just they don't really sell them here. And they also cost just as much as the American-made tools, so if you're in the US, you may as well just buy the American-made ones that you know are going to last and aren't made of suspect material. That's really about it for this video. It's sort of a little something I was thinking about for a while now. I'm probably going to do another one on metrology and on end mills, because honestly there's a lot of really cheap end mills on Amazon. Guys, just don't buy them. They're not worth it. They burn up easy. They don't keep an edge. I buy a lot of Lakeshore carbide, but any quality brand is a good brand, to be honest, as long as it's like well made. Doesn't matter where it comes from. Just don't buy the $5 end mill on Amazon. They're not worth it. They really aren't. Also buy good quality thread lock here. these are the two I use most. Everyone's favorite libation, Loctite 603. And I also use this one a lot. Most people don't even know what it is, and honestly I haven't really seen it used in the YouTube world much. And supposedly this stuff will kill you from cancers and all sorts of stuff, but you know, just don't drink it. You should be fine. Or sniff it. This stuff is actually really good. What I like to do with it, and what it's really designed for, is you shake it really good. A lot more than that. Then you fight to get the cap off, because it will thread lock itself on, because it's good stuff. And you just brush it onto your bolts, let it dry, and then you insert the bolt or whatever you're doing into the part you're trying to screw together, and it will make it stick, and it's removable, and supposedly you can reuse it as, oh man, that stuff stinks already. Open your doors when you use this, by the way. You don't want to get high off of this. But it basically allows you to just put a whole mess of bolts on your table, get them all thread locked, just let them dry, and then when you go to assemble your part, you can just drill it in, and it sticks. It's not like this where it's going to take heat to remove it, because once you kind of get this all set, it's not really going anywhere. This, you can actually remove the bolt afterwards. It's really just there for vibration resistance, and it kind of goos up the threads with it, so it doesn't move. It just stays in place. This is what I used on all the rails on my mill. For every one of those 3mm screws that's in the rail holding together, I put this on all of the little cap head screws to hold everything together. I used this on the 2-piece vise and other various projects that I've been using. It's like a CA glue base, sort of, I think. And it works pretty good. It's just different applications for different stuff, and like many things in life, not everything works together, so it's best to just buy a little bit of everything that you might use and stick with that. This stuff's kind of expensive. It's like 20 bucks for this bottle. When I bought it, I've had this bottle for 3 years now, and it's still about up to here with fluid, so it's lasted quite a while. This, I bought 2 of these like 2 months ago, I think, at this point. 2 months ago, yeah. And I've used hardly any, because I use this stuff a lot more, because to be honest, it's nice to be able to take things back apart. Alright, next week we'll get back to making some stuff. It's going to be the giveaway project. Now that I've got it all designed up, it's going to be a letter opener for all the people that can't have kniffs. So we'll go over that next week. To enter to win that, subscribe and leave a comment. And this or any of my other videos, and we will make the part next week. And I'm going to do 2 of them. I'm going to have one that's sharpened and hardened, and then one that's just going to be the blank cutout. And the reason I'm doing that is because some places you can't ship a sharpened letter opener too. So I'm gonna just leave it as a blank, and then whoever wins it can finish it up if they wish, or they just hang on the wall. Or to be honest, you can just use a file and make a little edge, and you could actually use it as a legitimate letter opener without hurting, because it is tool steel. And if all you're doing is cutting open envelopes and busting tape on an Amazon box, it works just fine for that. The other one will be sharpened and heat treated, so that'll be fun. I don't have a proper oven, so it'll be done with MAP gas probably, but that's for next week. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and if you like this type of video, let me know in the comments, and if you don't like it, also let me know in the comments, and I'll do less of them. So Have a great day and see you next week, guys. Bye.